Guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to share with you some of the TV shows that I have been binge watching lately, or just finishing up some series or some seasons or whatever. So I wanted to share with you because I usually try to go until I have 4 or 5 and then I can talk about them. So I keep track of my TV series in this little dotted notebook that a friend of mine sent me, and I keep them separated by Netflix, and I use stickers and everything because that's what I do. So stickers, I have DVR. We actually got rid of our DVR after we moved. We're streaming now, but that's okay. But I still know what I wanted to watch on my DVR, so I can go find them. And then I have online, so that's streaming and stuff. But I keep track of them. If you want to see how I set this up, I will link my setup video for this that I did when we were still living in Florida, but it has stayed the same. I've just added some stuff and filled in some things here and there. So this is how I keep track of where I am in my series and my TV shows and what I want to watch and all that good stuff. I love this thing. Okay, let's get the biggest one out of the way first. Supernatural. You guys, I am obsessed with this show. The last time I talked about watching this show, I'd only seen the first 6 episodes, and then it took me a long time to go back to it. I don't know what it was. I think I just wasn't in the mood or whatever. I did like the first 6 episodes, but that was a while ago, and I have since watched season 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm currently in the middle of season 5. I probably have 5 or 6 episodes left in season 5, so I'm more than halfway through that season. I'm obsessed with it. It is so good. And then also cheesy at the same time, but in a really good way. I don't care that it gets a little bit cheesy. I just love it. So if you haven't heard of Supernatural or you've never watched it, this follows 2 brothers who are supernatural hunters, basically. They hunt demons and vampires and werewolves and anything supernatural, lots of ghosts, stuff like that. There is a big family history of this as well, and there's a lot of things that happened with their parents and their family, and they're also kind of on a revenge mission that surrounds them as well, and all this stuff. But you basically follow Sam and Dean Winchester and everything that they get into, and it's fantastic. It is so funny. I laugh out loud so many times during the show. There was an episode in season 5 that I was physically oh my gosh, it was a lot. So there can be some definitely intense scenes. It's not like that throughout every single episode, but there are definitely some intense scenes, lots of blood, lots of gore. So know that going in. But Dean Winchester is my everything. He's my everything. So I am absolutely loving this show, and I'm going to keep on going for sure. But since the last time I talked about it, I have watched almost 5 full seasons, and that can be found on Netflix. The next one, my husband and I watched Loki. We watched the first season that is on Disney Plus, and this follows Loki from Marvel. And I was really excited for this show because I do really like Loki as a character. I like that he is the god of mischief, and he is always scheming, and you think you start trusting him, but he's really up to something else, and you can never really fully trust him, but you want to. And I love Tom Hiddleston. So I was really excited about this show. We both ended up not really loving it though. And we almost didn't finish the first season because I think we got a couple episodes towards the end and we were just I don't really know that we're enjoying this. It's really, really confusing. That's the big thing. It plays with time and different realms, and it was really just a lot of it went over my head. And there were times where I thought maybe I was following what was going on, but then something happened. I'm like, well, wait a minute. And I don't know. It was just a little bit too confusing for both of us, to be honest. And when we finished it, we were like, okay. So it wasn't our favorite. Unsure about whether or not we're going to watch season 2 or not. We'll see when it comes on, because I know it has been picked up for another season. We'll see about that. But I don't know. It definitely wasn't our favorite. I was let down by that one. And I also watched season 3 of The Rookie, which is one of my favorite shows. I love that show. I do love Nathan Fillion. I think he's fantastic. And I just love this show. It is a police show where our main character, John Nolan, is an older police officer. He joined the force as an older man, and you watch him be a rookie for the first part of the show and everything he's doing. And he is a police officer in Los Angeles. So lots of things to happen there, right? And I loved it. I loved this show. I know that it's going to continue as well. I know season 4 is going to be on the way, but I did watch season 3 and I really enjoyed it. I just really did. I like the things that happen with the characters. I like the things that happen like when they're on their missions, and then we're getting into some undercover work, which has been really an interesting storyline. So I just think it's great. It's a great cast as well. Another one that I finished, this is one I watched with my children. We watched Lego Masters. We started that show when it started, and just that's something we watch weekly when it's on, and we watched season 2 and it was really good. Like actually season 2, they stepped up their challenges and things they had to do. It was a lot more involving like movement and more challenging, I would say, weekly challenges that they do, just things that are a little bit harder to do. They had to do a lot of things that either moved or you had to, withstand a certain amount of wind, like they would blow this huge fan at the Legos, and it was like hurricane, almost a simulation type thing. And you had to build something that was strong enough to hold up to that. And they did like derby races and just all these types of things. It was really, really cool. And just seeing the teams get so creative with what they were making and how they were making things move was really interesting, because when you think of Legos, you think they're just like blocks, right? So they're just, build them, blah, blah, blah. But no, they can actually move, and, they're using motors and like lights and all these things. It was really, really cool. And we really, really enjoyed season 2. We really liked it. It was great. And this one I was able to watch through Hulu as well. And then the last thing that I watched in its entirety was a 9/11 documentary that was on Hulu. Actually, it's on Hulu, and then you can also watch it on Disney Plus because it was on National Geographic originally. So you can watch it on either one of those. And oh man, this one, there's 6 episodes, and I was just a mess through the entire thing. And not only did it make me cry in every single episode made me cry, but I learned so much about that day that I experienced already. I didn't experience it in the way that the survivors obviously experienced it. I was living in Florida when 9/11 happened, but I remember watching it. I remember all the reports. I remember everything coming afterwards. I remember all the stuff, reading about it constantly and seeing it on the news constantly. But this documentary taught me so much about what actually happened and the events leading up to it and things that the people who were experiencing this were going through. And I saw video footage I've never seen before. And it was really interesting because most of the footage I've never seen was taken by a set of brothers who were actually doing a documentary on one of the ladder houses in New York City. So they were actually there on 9/11 filming a documentary about this ladder house that was just a documentary. And that was like a project they were working on. And one of the brothers went out into the field with them. They went to go check a gas leak. And so he was out there and he was filming them, and they were checking for the gas leak, and he was watching their procedures and blah, 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 and them going through all the steps and stuff. And this cameraman, the first plane flies over them. Like they all look up at it, and it flies into the World Trade Center, the first plane. And I had never seen the first plane fly into the building. I've seen the second one. I watched the second one live, but I'd never seen the first one. And I lost it. I was sobbing. I'd never seen that before. And to see that happen, it felt like it was happening real time for me. It really did. It felt like I was watching it happen. Well, I mean, I was watching it happen, but it felt like it was happening all over again. And just the fact that that film guy was there, happened to be there on that day, and he stayed with them the entire day. He followed them around. He was in the lobby of the World Trade Center with them when they were trying to figure out what in the world is going on. How in the world are we going to get these people out of here? Like what's the best steps to take? And him being in that lobby with that camera and hearing what the firefighters were saying, seeing people come out of the building, hearing things that were happening outside was just a punch in the gut. It was, oh man, it was a lot. It was very, very emotional. And then, you're hearing stories from survivors from all sorts of different places, from both of the buildings, from the hotel next door, from the Pentagon, families of people who were on Flight 93 that crashed in Pennsylvania. And it's, oh man, it was a lot. It was a lot. But it was also one of the most impactful things I've ever seen. And I would pair this with the book, The Only Plane in the Sky by Garrett Graff. I read the book and then I watched the show, and some of the people that are in the book giving their testimonies are also in the documentary. So you got to see the faces and hear the voices of the people who I had just read about, which was really, really just kind of put it over the top for me as well. And oh man, it was incredible. I will say that's one of the best done documentaries I've ever seen. I haven't seen a ton, to be honest with you, but it was so impactful, and I feel like it made a big difference in my life. So if you haven't seen it and you think you can stomach it, because it is a lot, it's very, very emotional, but it was incredible at the same time. So I would definitely highly recommend that documentary. And again, you can watch it on Hulu or you can watch it on Disney Plus with National Geographic. As those are the most recent TV show binges I have seen over the past few months. I don't remember last time I updated, but I had 5 to talk about, so I thought it was a good time to update. And so I'm going to keep on watching some TV shows, and then when I have like 4 or 5 to talk about, I will give you another update on that. But let me know down below if you guys have seen any of the shows I talked about. Let me know what shows you are enjoying. Are there any upcoming shows you're really excited about? I'd like to know that too. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.